Now we introduce another principle of art design, the concepts of contrast and affinity. Contrast literally means difference, the difference in quality between two instances of an element of art or using opposing qualities next to each other. Affinity means similarity, sort of the opposite of contrast. These two terms relate to the visual intensity of an image. Visual intensity is the viewer's reaction to it, either physical or emotional. Contrast causes more visual intensity, a stronger audience reaction. One example of the use of contrast is brightness. You've probably heard us say the eye is drawn to the brightest part of the image first. Unless the positive space is darker, then the eye is drawn to the contrast between it and the negative space. The greater the contrast, the more something will stand out and call attention to itself. High contrast makes an image pop, makes it more vibrant, vigorous, and lively. Low contrast, or high affinity imagery, is more quiet, or calm and subtle, subdued, reflective, soothing. All elements of art can be in affinity or contrast with themselves. This is an example of affinity of value, or the intensity of the colors. And this is an example of the contrast of value. You can feel how different the two scenes are in terms of visual intensity, just because of this one contrasting element. Taken to the extreme, this contrast of value becomes silhouette. You can also have contrast or affinity of space. On the left, you have affinity of space. There's nothing but deep space in that image. On the right, you have contrast of space. Contrast the flat space behind the couple with the deep space of the rail in the immediate foreground. You can use these qualities within your image to draw attention to or away from your subject, or the quality of the subject that you're trying to emphasize. And later, we'll look at how to use contrast and affinity to tell story too.